Hello, Happy New Year, and welcome to the 1912 Exiles podcast, the original, the biggest, the best Newport County podcast, made by the fans, for the fans, brought to you as ever by the Terrace Cymru podcast network, and in association with the Riverside Sports Bar, the home of live sport and great burgers in Newport. I'm Ed, and before I introduce my panel, I just want to say a Happy New Year. May it be a happy, healthy, and prosperous 2026 for all of you listening, and thank you for all of your ongoing support for the podcast. I am joined tonight by two new voices. So I'm joined by Logan and Fab. Good evening, gents.
Good evening, Ed.
Hiya.
Thank you very much for coming onto the pod. And I'll throw some questions at you in a moment. But just for the listeners, I should add that we're hoping to get a few more fresh voices onto the podcast in the second half of the season, partly to broaden the pool of opinions, but also because due to family and work and logistical reasons, I think some of the pod crew, including me, might make slightly fewer games over the coming weeks. So if you've not been on the podcast before, or you haven't been on for a while, and you're at a game over the next few months, drop us a message and let's see if we can sort something out. It'd be good to have a few new people on. One other debts, so we're not going to get the Ko-Fi begging bowl out, but if you want to help the pod without having to spend a single dime, nice reviews are always appreciated and they help the podcast. So if you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else, then it is a cost-free way of helping us to climb the podcast rankings and reach more people. So do take a second to do that if you can. Right, to business. Obviously, we arranged to record tonight, Sunday night, expecting that we could ask Logan and Fab about the two games that they've attended over recent days, Bromley away and Tranmere at home. But as you will know, listeners, Tranmere today, well, that fell foul of the icy weather. So County now don't have another game for the best part of a fortnight. So rather than wait for a few weeks, we thought we would push ahead and have a little chat about Bromley anyway, as well as asking Fab and Logan about the transfer window. So let's start with Bromley, and Logan, I'll come to you first. I mean, what were your expectations going into that game?
So going into that game, obviously following the brilliant win on the 29th against Crewe, the 2-0 win, I was thinking we could get something out of the game. Bromley, sort of known for being unbeaten at home and their prow on set pieces, obviously something we can be a bit iffy on. But I was thinking, we could keep the ball on the ground, play sort of to the feet, consistently press, which we did quite a lot in the game. I thought maybe we could snag a goal and then obviously probably concede to a set piece, which we ended up doing. But I felt that we could get a point from that game, especially on the high we were following the Crewe win.
Yeah, and then Fab, I mean, we started out by putting out this kind of weakened side, allegedly due to illnesses, but I think it was probably also likely that players like Smith and Shepherd were being rested or protected for the more winnable game against Tranmere. Now, hindsight is a wonderful thing,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
what did you make of that starting 11 when you saw it?
I don't know. I was a bit intrigued because obviously didn't have Braybrook. That was the main one, and just didn't really know what to expect because we had Antwi and Brennan in there, and normally it's like when we had Cochrane, and we went to like places like Stockport, we chucked three up top. We had what was it, Bogle, Evans, and Palmer Holden, and then we chucked two in midfield, and then we just got overrun, lost like 3-0. And we only had like players like Wildig and Charzy. And normally when we have like two in midfield, we just get overrun. And then you got teams like I'll tell you like Tranmere for instance, like they play with two in midfield, we don't really get overrun, but we always just seem to get overrun. But I didn't really know, but I thought backline just expected the same, like we'd just be solid. But I was just intrigued to see who would make those like breaking of the line runs that Braybrook did, as you can see through the most recently the Crew game.
Yeah, I mean that point about breaking the lines, it was something we were talking about during the Crew match that we do lack those players at the moment. You know, Braybrook obviously has gone back. We'll come on to him a bit later on. Whitmore is out of favour. Who are the players who are going to break the lines? I mean, in terms of Bromley, I was listening to the commentary rather than watching, but you know they are a big, strong, powerful side, physical, not pretty, but everyone in their team knows their job. Their work rate is phenomenal. How did you think we matched that, Logan?
Um, I think we matched it pretty well, to be fair. I was very questioning the lineup like Fab was. The midfield, Brennan Antwi midfield, notorious for sort of getting overrun. Cameron Evans in the right wing back position, someone who I back his work rate 100%. He's heart on his sleeve, dives into tackles. You can't question his work rate. His ability, though, for this league is something you can question, and I thought it did show in this game. But I think in terms of the actual work rate, I don't know if Fuchs have told him to build on that crew performance, but I think they didn't expect to have so much of an off a game on their hands. You could see the Bromley players getting frustrated when we managed to get past them in an attack or send a through ball. I think we matched especially at their home where they haven't lost. I think this season
Yeah.
they were surprised about how much we took it to them.
Yeah, and I mean, with that in mind, the the goal that we conceded was not only a sucker punch with when it came, but also the manner in which we conceded. It was a proper kind of horror show. Michael Cheek
Yeah.
is their best player. He's an absolute beast, and we just left him unmarked. I mean, what was your view of it?
Well, obviously it was on the other side of the pitch, unfortunately, from the away end, so I didn't get the best view, but I've gone back to watch the highlights, and it is so unfortunate. Get first time lucky with the free header to the post, second time lucky for Michael Cheek's rebound shot to hit Jordan Wright. Doesn't get third time lucky because it literally just bounces off CBR's head. And it reminded me of the goal we conceded against Walsall, their third one. I think it was Finnegan, where Wright's such a good chance to deny the goal, and it just falls to the wrong place and hits it back into the goal.
Yeah, was that your view as well, Fab?
Yeah, well, mainly my view was the same with like because Shawumni, he sits for six, and you think, oh, you'll have like James Clark on it. He'll get on him. He'll start like pinching him. He'll just start absolutely tearing him to shreds. But he's unmarked. Like no one goes up for him. No one like he's just got a free header, and then you know that he's just going to head it back across, and it's just the same again. Like Michael Cheek, he's one of the top goal scorers in our league. He's a proven like goal scorer in the 6 yard area, and he's just taking a shot, and no one's really on him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just calamitous.
I mean, it is just the story of our season that we will have spells in first halves where we'll play well, but then it's the old thing of individual mistakes and or just losing that key player at key times, and then we kind of we're reeling. I mean, we got back to 2-1, but listening to the commentary, it didn't sound as though if we'd suddenly popped up and got a late equaliser, would it have been deserved in your view, Fab? Did we deserve to get anything out of that game?
I thought yeah, because I still think that that first goal the Bromley score, because normally we've had it this season. We've got a corner in the, we'll say like there's like 4 minutes added on. We got 3 minutes 50, and we take ages to set up, and the ref just blows up, and we're like, oh, okay, straight to half time. And then they set up. It takes them a while, and then they've kicked in at like the late 46 minute, in the like late 46 minute going into the 47th. But it's like we've had it where like games have been blown early. So in
Mm.
my head, I still think it should be like 1-1. But just how we nullified them, I think we did really deserve a point really overall,
How about
because
you,
they
Logan?
didn't look anything
Yeah,
special.
I agree with what Fab's saying there. Um, they it was just a team that knew what they were doing. Like
Yeah.
I backed this when I was talking to someone. They are one of the worst top like of the table sides I think I've seen us play in terms of they don't do anything special. They just know what they're doing, and that's a credit to the staff and the players. They know what to do to win games, and I think the way we played the first half, unlucky to concede literally on the stroke of half time, which again I agree with Fab. It went way too past the allocated minutes. But we had a couple good chances, I remember Glennon cut it back, just no one
Yeah,
was in the box. There was just so many good chances we could have gone up 1-0 in the first half to then and at the end of the second half, to be fair, into the additional time, We had a couple good chances to get a second. It just didn't fall our way, unfortunately.
Yeah. Can I just buy in? Sorry. I do think, right, because I went last year and I thought, and we brought players, who do we bring on? Kieran Evans and Whitmore, and they both scored last year because we started running at them, right? And we brought Whitmore and Lloyd on. As soon as we brought them, we just looked a whole different side. We were just running at them. They were
Mhm.
terrified. They couldn't
Yeah,
deal with pace.
yeah,
I
that
think that could have helped us a lot more.
yeah,
Sorry.
their number 5 Shumeni, the 6 foot guy.
Yeah.
He looked terrified with the ball at his feet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So like I I'm not questioning Fuchs. Obviously, he knows. Well, we hope we know he knows what he's doing. But sometimes it's probably just inexperience as a manager. But we bring on these players which may be out of favor, or he doesn't think are going to be able to do it, and then it changes the game. So hopefully, like 2-1 for a top of the table team, where teams around us are losing 3-1 to them. You add obviously 3-2 lost win against Bristol Rovers. They're beating teams around us. For us to lose that little and have the chance to draw it, I think shows more about us than it does about them.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, the other thing that sticks out to me is what you say about Bromley, that, they're nothing special in terms of talent. They've just got a physically strong team. They work hard. Everyone knows their job. And like we've been that team in the past. You think of some of those Flinny teams where the work rate is exceptional. There will be one or two talented players, but it's more about the work ethic. And I suppose that sort of neatly, in some ways, brings us on to the other thing I want to talk about, which is transfer business and what we are going to need by the end of this month. So, I mean, obviously, we've all had the news that Sammy Braybrook has gone back to Leicester, which I think probably a lot of us knew was going to come. But it doesn't. Well, firstly, it doesn't make it less painful, and secondly, when you then see that he's gone to Chesterfield, it's not as though he's gone to a side in the third division or even back to Leicester to try and compete to get in their first team, which would not be that much of a stretch given how well he's performed. He's gone to a side in the same league. Fab, what's your reaction to that? Were you kicking the bin in the Grey household?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a strange one, really, isn't it? Because like it's hard because he can't really. He's getting game time with us. He's playing well as well. That's the other thing. But the thing is, like, he can't. He is good enough for League One, but really in League One in January, like he's going to go to a team and just not be the same player. He's not really going to be able to get into a side. But it's a weird one, Chesterfield as well, because they got players like John Fleck and Tom Naylor, both so many Championship League One appearances. John Fleck's been in the Premier League with Sheffield United for like 2 seasons. But I'm just not sure if like today they played and Naylor slotted in at back line. But if they've got a fully fit back line and Fleck and Naylor are fit as well, he's just not going to be able to. He's going to struggle to get into that side. That's the other
I,
thing.
I guess maybe that's just the logic is, he's been pivotal to a side who are in the bottom two. Can he go and play his way into a side who are challenging at the top end? But I mean,
Yeah,
from a player development perspective, I don't know. I would argue he'd have been better off staying with us and being star boy and us having the team built around him almost in the second half of the season. That would probably do more for him than um, being uprooted. But either way, he's gone, and presumably Logan Harrison Biggins, who signed from Shrewsbury, is the Braybrook replacement. Is that your reading of it, and what's your kind of reaction to that as a
Um,
signing?
I don't think he's going to be the 100% replacement. I was having a chat with someone earlier about this. Obviously, big, loss in Sammy Rayburn, but he did everything, which makes the loss a bit more manageable. Which I think I would 100% prefer to have him. I'm not saying we don't have Sammy Braybrook and life's better. It's not. He's instrumental to our team, but in terms of he did ball carrying, chance creation, defense, he did a lot of everything, which means if we bring in 3-4 players who can do each one of them a bit better,
Yeah,
we might be able to have a bit more of a rounded team instead of passable to Sammy. Like
yeah,
looking at our current team, obviously I believe Biggins is a ball carrier, sort of box crasher player that I've seen from his interviews and from a bit of highlights I've seen and from what I've heard from former Doncaster fans. So that's one bit. If Antwi can pick up his form, which he's kind of been on and off this season, potential chance creator there. And if Brennan's, staying in the midfield, he's pretty good at defense and like shielding that back line. You've got Sammy and three players there. And if we
Yeah.
are staying with this free midfield, like back five, you've got the players there that can replace his skills. Obviously, I prefer to have one player that can do everything and other players to then be a bit more free. But we are looking to replace Sammy in terms of players. I think we've got the options and the options to bring more players in, especially if, well, we look at other potential players to bring in. Like there's talks of more midfielders. Obviously, if we send some players back, there's room to replace what he brought to the team.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's definitely true. And yeah, I mean, Biggins brings a lot of experience, which is the thing that we have been saying we want. We can't be here kind of expected to have the penny and the bun. If you want experienced players, then they probably are going to come with a health warning over something, whether that's injuries or Biggins is one you look and you say, well, he's fallen out of favour at a side who are only just above us in the table, but if he can find some form again and show what he can do, then why not? I mean, and yeah, I'm old enough that I remember watching his dad play, sort of 30 years ago. So that's a nice one for me to cement my age. The other two bits of news we've had, so Akim Odomayo left us, and then within a matter of minutes, it seemed to me, signed for Crawley. And meanwhile, Nathan Apoku, it's been confirmed, is staying until the end of the season. Any kind of quick reactions to either of those from either of you?
The Otter Mayo one, I'm not trying to dunk on Cameron Evans here. I would prefer him 100% over Cameron Evans. The little bit of game we've seen from him coming in to replace Jenkins in that FA Cup win against Gillingham, just the odd League Two appearances, I think he made across his like 3 months here about 8 or 9 appearances. And I just thought, solid centre back, potential right back option and he's been in this league before, League One with Northampton. He's got experience, and I thought I preferred out of everyone we brought in on a short term deal permanently, he was the one I
Mm.
wanted to keep. And
Mm.
Apoku, just I'm glad we've kept him. Definitely gives us a better option up front. Different option for CBR. The few bits I remember of him recently were for both games of Crew actually. It was the first goal we scored against Crew. I know the second one actually, aggressively running to get the ball. Putting pressure on the defense, recovers it, passes it to Whitmore. Whitmore sends it into the middle for Antwi to score. And again for against Crew at home, catches the ball
Yeah.
at the front, delivered to Lloyd. Lloyd tries to take the shot. Sammy scores the rebound. He's just so aggressive against defense. And you look at our other options on front. You got Jed Garner, who doesn't really move because that's his skill set. You got CBR who can take defenders on but not really get past them, and Reindorf, which I'm struggling to remember what Reindorf offers us some days because he's played 22 times, but a lot of those times have been 20-minute, 10-minute cameos now.
Well, I mean, Reindorf is clearly out of favour. The rumour is that we want to send him back, but Cardiff don't want to have him back and pay his wages. So us being in an argument over who doesn't have to have Michael Reindorf for the second half of the season, that feels very Newport County 25-26.
Yeah.
Fab, how about you?
Yeah,
What's your take on all of this?
yeah. No, Aldemeo. I thought he was all right, but like after standing behind the goal at Bourne Wood on that terrace and watching him and Agunye defend like drunk Sunday League defenders, I was like, I'm not having this. Yeah, I don't know. I get he's got like pedigree and stuff, but yeah, after that, I can't forgive him for that. Him and Agunye, it was like, oh, terrible twosome. And then a Poku, yeah, really happy with him. To be fair, as Logan would say, he's as a striker, he's like CBR. He's more reactive. He'll act on like the little like knock-ons. So like a defender will make the first attempt at something, then he'll go for it. But then a Poku, he's just more proactive than what we've got really. And and the other thing is like he can win headers as well. He's got a good frame on him, really strong, and
And
yeah, he's really good.
and if he can stay fit, which is the
Yeah,
big if.
exactly.
He's shown he can score goals and he is improving. So then the other two of the loanees, Ogune, I think everyone's expecting him to go back. Lloyd, we'll wait and see. It seems as though he maybe is more of a Fuchs player perhaps than he might have been a Dave Hughes player, but we'll see. But the big question I want to ask to kind of finish off, I suppose, is for each of you, what is your top priority, or what are your two top priorities for the rest of the window? What's the thing or indeed the individual player you think we most need? Go on, Logan. You can go first.
Um, I reckon another one or two midfielders. Yeah, it's definitely, especially if we lose Lloyd.
Mm,
Whether we do or not is another question currently because his loan's set to run out sometime in January. I don't think we know an exact date, but definitely another one or two midfielders. And if we are staying with this back five, I like our current options with Thomas and Shepherd at a right wing back, but I would like to go get a starting, someone who could pretty much do everything we need on a right wing back sit position, attack, defend, sort of everything there. Because on the left wing back, I didn't think I'd be saying this after the start of the season and what he did, how he performed last season. But Glennon at left wing back is amazing. Like him and Davies are both polar opposites that we can deploy him in in either games. We need him. Davies is a lot more defensively sound. He can still drive forward, but he makes you feel a bit safer at the back. But
yeah,
Glennon at like what was it last season provided 10 goals and assists. It's nothing to scoff at of what he can
yeah,
provide. And defensively this season, still a bit iffy. He's led to a few goals, but he's 10 times a player at defence than he was last season. And maybe because he's got competition now, like you think he had what 4 games of competition before Davies got injured,
yeah.
and a
Yeah.
whole half a season that he was competing with Cam Evans at left back, which I don't think he was really worried about. So I definitely more midfielders and a right wing back. And then if we could, if depending if we send obviously Reindorf back, potentially another option up front. But that's if we're going to play with wingers. If not,
Yeah.
I'm quite happy with what we've got up front currently.
How about you, Fab?
Think I've only got one, and this is all I want: a left-footed centre back. Because when we're when we're moving forward, like at the moment, what do we play with? Baker at the centre and Clark on the left. But Clark, like he can't really use his left foot as well as his right foot. And really, and I just think that if you want that ball to go quickly to Glenn, you're gonna want a left-footed player to play it. And the one I would go out for, an ex-county player, Ryan Delaney, our favourite Swindon. Swindon want to sell him. He's only got, I think, 6 months left on his contract. So obviously you will have to pay him out of his contract. But still, he's been here 6'5", big, horrible, ugly defender, but good ball playing as well. So I think that's really all we need, just him.
Do we need a centre half though? Would be my question. I mean, with Clark, uh, Baker, you've obviously got Brennan who can, like, I would argue, despite the fact we've conceded a lot of goals, the one area of the pitch I'm not worried about is centre half. I think we've got enough good options.
Uh, it's a hard one. I, well, he's got issues with like injuries in the past, so you never know if that could crop up. And we got like we brought in Warner. We
Hmm.
He made like cameo appearance on the bench. We haven't seen him at all, and he just looks a shadow of the player when I saw him play against. I think it was like Arsenal under 21, and then he got injured 3 minutes in. So I just think just wouldn't mind a bit of cover. And when Brennan's in the back line, he is good, but I still just think we're missing. I know Jameson, he had a mistake in him, but still, like I just want a left-footed player because we don't have many. We've only got Davidson, Glennon, and Spellman.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
No, it's a fair point. And yeah, I did see the man you referred to as Jaden Benchwarner the other day, which I thought was
Mm.
mean but quite funny. We're going to finish it up, chaps, because we've rattled on for long enough. But I'll give you a chance to get some beefs off your chest and to do any shout outs. So go on, Fab, you can go first. Shout out some beefs.
All right, I got two showers, two beefs. So shout out to everyone who made the trip to Bromley. Very well done on a groggy New Year's Day. And my other shout out is to Bromley Clubhouse. I went in there. It was pretty steep in price, I will say, but it was very nice because really nice, brand new like clubhouse. But about an hour and 45 before kickoff, all the players walked through.
Nice.
All the Bromley players walked through, did autographs, and then I saw Omar Shawani, and then I said to my dad, "That's a guy who's going to score against us." He didn't quite score, but he scored. He got two last time, but yeah, that was quite nice. Then beefs. So I drove to Bromley, and it's got to be Bromley parking. I asked the steward three times if I could park at this place, and he said, "Yeah, yeah, it's fine." Even though it said if you're caught in this spot, you get fined. And he said three times it was fine. And then I asked all the security guards, and they were like, "No, don't park there. You're going to get fined." So then I had to obviously just drive out of Bromley and go elsewhere. So big beef with that steward. Finally, I'm going to say it's going to be with uh, county as a whole because after hearing the um, Hugh Jenkins discussion, he said about we get 500 grand a year from the EFL for our academy. So obviously we're putting that to our academy. Yeah, we got players like Corey Evans, who's 18 and he's got 5 goals, he's got a few assists. Like, and we got players like Nelson Sanko who's proven he can do it. It's just these are our assets. We can bring them back into the club, possibly build them up. Players like Sanko have already proven he can do it,
Mm.
and obviously, like sell them on and make us money. But and Hugh Jenkins is all about youth and like people staying local. And I just hope that County really utilise our academy because I've seen them play a few times. They look like they can do it. To be fair,
Yeah, I mean, Sanka is one I've said in the past. At 16 years of age, he was physically and technically
yeah,
definitely looked to me like one who could kick on. And I mean, I have no idea how he's got on this season out at where is it he's got on
for
loan?
Neckley,
Llanelli.
Gneffley.
yeah, he looks
Yeah,
good there.
but
Yeah, we got a couple guys down there. I think it's him,
Yeah,
Jack Norris,
Morgan
and Morgan
Evans.
Evans.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's it. Yeah,
yeah. Well, maybe we need to find our Llanelli town counterparts and
yeah.
get a full report. Okay, go on then, Logan. You can have the last word. Shout out some beefs.
Um, I think shout outs definitely to my granddaddy. I've gotten into this, and he constantly bites my ear off about how County are doing and that, and provides me a constant opinion on what's going on, which I always do enjoy. He calls me up randomly just to ask me about what's going on with County and that. And beefs, I've got to say, it's not at Swindon themselves, but hit them in Sky Sports. They moved the game 3 times now.
Yeah.
And I do find it quite funny because two were, I think the Swindon fans were probably a bit annoyed as well, like from a from a Saturday 3 o'clock game to a Saturday 12:30 game to a Friday 8 o'clock game, and now because obviously the FA Cup, they're moving that to I think like a Wednesday for like eight
Wednesday
o'clock
night, yeah,
game
yeah.
in Feb. Just like, can we just have the game, please? I know we'll probably get battered about 4-0 because they're doing really good, but stop delaying it for us.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's each time it moves, it gets more and more difficult for me to attend it, which is a pity. Well, listen, thank you both of you for coming on. A very assured debut by both of you, and I'm sure we'll have you back on at some point. So thanks for your time this evening.
Thank you for bringing us on.
No, thank you very much.
Listeners, we obviously now have a couple of weeks off before County's next game. What we'll probably do is bring you a short episode before the Gillingham game where we'll do a bit of a match preview and maybe talk about the transfer window, however it's gone by that point. Hopefully we'll bring you lots of good reaction to some excellent new signings, but we'll see how we get on. But until then, look after yourselves and each other, and above all, as always, keep it County.